All right, well, I got a little lunch break here, and I'm going to try to put in a piece of drywall. I mean, you can see that sun is just intense, and I'll stand here a second. I can feel it looking at my skin. They say that the solar flares are going to peak in 2026. Be a minute while this goes into dark mode, dark and white and dark. There we go. All right, so looky, I've got that wall's ready. I've got that ceiling piece ready, and I have this side wall ready. So I'm going to do the hardest part first. I'm going to do the ceiling. Now, fortunately, it's a little sliver, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I have not checked my drywall in this thing in quite a bit, so I don't know if moisture is, I don't think the dew point's been up. But I hate that. But if it's stained, I won't use the stained one on the ceiling. I don't want to mess with it because I, plaster over the stains, and I wouldn't want to do that on the ceiling. All right, let's take a look here and do all of that. I need my trailer for this weekend to get all my work done. So I've mentioned this before. I've seen guys on the internet, younger men, muscling up full sheets of drywall above their head. Now, this is the way you solo build and use cleats. And no, you get a lift. And I bought a cheapy Harbor Freight where I have to pick it up so far. I have seen really good lifts that go all the way down to the ground where you could drag a sheet onto it and it's like that far off the ground and it has full articulation. This Harbor Freight doesn't have full articulation, and the wire feed system on this it likes to stack up on one side and then boom, and your drywall will drop down an inch or so. But I'm telling you, it's worth a man. And it was, I don't know, a couple of $100. Go on a Harbor Freight and look. I'm not affiliated. I'm not getting paid a dime. But the folks that you see online that say, oh, solo build, use cleats, and they're climbing up a ladder with a thing of sheetrock are so wrong. It is so dangerous. It's just not worth that risk. Go and buy a lift of any kind. And, once I get the lift dialed in, I've got all of these posts in between. So the lift kind of doesn't fit. It doesn't go flush to the ceiling. Well, I just shim it up with 2x4s and, turn it on their side. And I tighten it up that way. And, the deal is I don't have to worry about being hurt with overhead work. And if you hurt yourself on a job, you're out, right? You're out of that. How much is that? Way more than the $200 for a Harbor Freight lift. And on top of it, you drive by a pawn shop, you see them there. So you could either get one from a pawn shop for half, $100 or whatever, or sell yours back, or you'll always have a buddy needing a drywall lift. So anyway, long story short, let me set it up. I already put it together once with Leah, and so all I do is just put the pieces on. It doesn't take real long. I'll focus in on the ground, and we'll put it in together right there. Oh, what I'm doing is I'm just setting it up where it'll be mostly in where I want it. And then I know I'm going to want to put the drywall here, and then I'll swivel those out of the way. So I'm just locking them in place. Okay, so this is the right way to solo build. But the right way to solo build drywall isn't to solo build it at all, right? If I had another guy, I would have already had the sheet cut, and I would have had it up, and it would have already been in place. Full sheet, even with the guy, I would still use the lift, like no doubt. It's 108 pounds is what a full sheet of 5/8 inches, and that is too much weight, in my opinion, to be like, and you catch it and you're on a ladder. Come on, it's not worth getting hurt. All right, let's make some measurements. I'll holler them down. You remember them, okay, internet? So that one I missed big time. But, yeah, so this, I didn't snap a level on all of these things. So, but I followed the corrugation is what I did. The corrugation is what I did. So that one was a little off. It's 18 on this side and 16 on that, 2 inches out of taper. So that's terrible, but it'll be okay. Spanish Mission has a little heritage. It's got a vibe, an emotional vibe. So 18 on one end, 16 on the other. It says 15 minutes on that camera right now. Of course, I'll edit it out. It won't be 15 linear time. Whew! That sun cooked me. All right, 18 and 16, and there are all kinds of little things I gotta miss, and doors and overhangs, and wish me well. How about that? Here. So what I'm gonna do is get it close because there's all kinds of little things I have to dodge on this. So I will be moving this one around, but it's okay. It's a lighter weight one than the big heavy ones. But then I'll get it into place ultimately with the with boards and shims and swearing, and it'll probably be a 1/4 inch too too big. And then I'll cut it on the rack. When I put up insulation, I gotta double check as it goes up because it'll grab the wire and or insulation and cause me trouble. I've tried it both ways, without the insulation, with the insulation. It's best to do it without the insulation. But it's so hot that once I started insulating, I didn't want to stop. Well, that's pointing in the right way, not as far as I wanted. But, you know, I don't know. Years ago, somebody ran me over, left me for dead. If you've been watching, you know that. So I got a little shake, and when it gets to that, see, I'm letting go mentally. As long, now I'm in trouble. But that's part of the dehydration. So my early warning detection system says stop. So I'm going to stop here, go in, sit in the AC for a little while, drink some water, get rejuvenated, come back out, finish this part up. So we'll see how far in the video this goes. All right, I'm back for my lunch, a quick work here. Let's see if I can get this up. So it's 104 outside right now. A darn skunk came by and sprayed the whole place. So what's he doing out in the middle of the day? That's unusual. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it. He's either super thirsty and crazy or he's got rabies. So I'm going to keep my eye on that guy. Don't want to tangle with a SA skunk out in the middle of the day. All right, man, I am not looking forward to this little thing. Let me see how far I can get just like this. So let's talk about that congestion in there. So I cut it actually a ½ inch short all the way around, but in the getting up, I've got the rails of the door. I've got the bolts that come through the rails of the door. I have the natural weirdness of the edges. I have the fiberglass insulation, which pushes down if you don't watch it. Just a lot of little things, but look, it's up. I'm going to block it up, get it up even a little higher, wedge it in. I might even get some screws in it before I overheat. We'll find out. All right, someplace around here I have stainless steel drywall screws, so I just have to track them down. I think I remember where they are even. I think they're right here. Yeah. All right. This is normally for stepping on the floor. You put this end under it and you step on it on the floor and do that, but I've also used it on the ceiling to move things around. I'd like an 1/8 inch more of that underneath that post just for support. So I'm going to try to do that from here, but I don't know, right? Felt like it moved a little. All right, I'll start over there on that end. I'm so excited I can get some screws on this all in one pass. Hopefully get this all the way done. Nothing fancy on the screws. I'm just going to follow those furring strips. I am overheating. So that was, since these are stainless, they have a little weird dimension. So I needed a different bit. And they're, I can see right here, they're fine. Thread. All right. Pretty darn excited. Get a 2x4 wedged up in there to support that end. But I don't want, if you put too many screws in a row and it's under tension like that, it'll take that row of screws and it'll crack your drywall right there. So what I'm gonna do is prop up a 2x4 over in that corner to push that up, and then I'll be less worried about it cracking. So I put away the drywall lift, which I can't rave enough about, but I mean, it's heavy, I gotta move it around. So there's a nice breeze coming through, helping a little. So somebody might say, hey Steve, why don't you use a swamp cooler, a big fan in here? And it's because the insulation would be swirling around. Right now this mineral wool settles out, right? So the insulation, that's the benefit of that compared to fiberglass is because it's a basalt salt like lava, right? Spun lava. It's heavier, it falls out faster than other types of minerals, cellulose or whatever, that can stay airborne forever, which would be getting in my lungs. I'm trying not to use a face mask because I think the heat is a bigger threat right now than just trying to keep the dust down. So no fan, no swamp cooler. Once I get all this up and a final sand in here and dry, yeah, sure, I put a fan in here, blow all day long, do what I want to do. But right now I'd just be creating harm for my lungs when I can just retreat from the heat every so often. So I don't know. You know, it's all whole world's full of compromises. There's no right answer. So if you got a better answer than I do and you want to use the swamp cooler and 133 heat index weather, which CD says just don't work. but I gotta get in a house. I've been here a little over a year building. I've owned the property for 18 months. And my quality of living in a pop-up camper is pretty bad. You know, in retrospect, maybe I should have bought a bigger RV or something and sold it when I was done. I've never wanted to own an RV. It's never been on my radar. But if you, like me, don't like owning something like that, just buy it and sell it when you're done, or buy a used one. You know, once they're 10 years old, the campgrounds don't like them. You might be able to find a reasonable one. I don't know. They're all pretty expensive right now. You can put that $20,000 someplace else, is what I'm saying. So a pop-up camper, if you guys saw that episode on a pop-up camper, I paid $2,500 for it. You know, it's already paid itself back, plus I'll sell it when I'm done if I decide, or I might use it as my summer home and tow it down to the coast since I can work anywhere, you know. Just talking out loud, let me put the camera back up there. So a couple of things. These little drywall screws that came in, they are fine. And that's a little more hard work for me to put in there. So I'm having to focus and put a little more energy onto it. And it needed a different size drill bit. And the heads are a little smaller. I don't really like that either. But in this wet environment, I don't want drywall screws sweating and then staining when all's been said and done. So, you know, I'm sticking with the stainless steel. And I'll just put in a couple extra is what I'll do. You can't put in too many screws or else you actually weaken the drywall by having too many screws in it. All right, so now I've got the ceiling piece up. I could put on the two side pieces. The reason why you do the ceiling first and then the side pieces will come in and support the edge of your ceiling. So, you know, it just keeps your ceiling from falling down. So you're not just using the screws, but you're using the edge of the drywall. So that's how I drywall. I always do the ceiling first and then tuck the sides in. And then you have the 5/8 inch all the way around holding on to the ceiling drywall, and that is a superior way for sure. That's best practice. All right, I'll wrap up this video. It's been a long time in here. This is my second break from the heat. When I come back, I'll measure the sides. I'll put those in. There's no you could go back through my videos and see many times where I drywalled on the side. So just watch one of those. And I hope to get this trailer empty because it is Friday. I do need to run to the bank. I got some other things that I have to get done right now, so I have to take a break from construction. Steve at 1000 Years Homes. Like, subscribe, follow me along. Bye.